We're really fortunate. I think our team played incredibly hard in the second half. You know, we cut down our turnovers to only have 13 for the game after having 11 at halftime. And we talked about playing aggressive and confident when they three-quarter court press us and playing in attack mode. You know, sometimes when teams throw that conservative press at you, it looks like you're walking across a frozen pond, not sure if the ice is going to fall in. And we played a little bit more downhill and attacked a little bit better in the second half. And I really felt like at halftime our problem wasn't the defensive end, it was the offensive end. 33 points isn't a whole lot of points to give up. A few of those were in transition, and now you're talking like mid-20s if you take care of the ball. In the second half we did that. I thought our defense was as good as it's been all year in the second half. And again, like I said, I think the difference was we played much better offensively in the second.
Coach, the first game, obviously, Xavier Johnson and McGowan's had a terrific night, but what did you do differently this time around to get them to, I guess, not be in the lane and to kind of limit them the entire game?
I think their play in game one and games since then demanded a lot more respect than maybe our players had for them going in. I also think that I didn't do what was probably the best in terms of the strategy. You know, we had switched every ball screen in the Miami game to start the year, and we felt like that was the best plan against Miami. And then thinking that was, hey, that should be the plan for Pittsburgh because it worked well. Probably did our players a little bit of a disservice. So we did adjust our pick and roll defense. I thought they made some good adjustments as well. I thought their guards are big. You see over the top of our guards when the roll man's not open, they were spraying that weak side pass when we weren't giving up layups on the roll. So it puts you in tough positions. But again, I think that by and large we kept those two guys out of the lane as well as you can. And they're really good players. I know they're freshmen. They should be seniors, which is even scarier. But physically, they're mature enough to be juniors and seniors when you look at their body. And Coach Capel has those guys playing extremely confident, downhill, attacking. So they're tough to deal with, and we're not the only team that's had problems.
It was up 39-38. What sparked that run for you guys?
I think our defense, again, I go back to what I said in the very beginning of the press conference. Our defense was probably what won us the game in the second half. But I didn't think it was bad in the first half. But when you turn the ball over 11 times, you're going to get Pittsburgh out in transition. They're going to get some 2-on-1s. They're going to get fouled. You're not in the right position. When you don't turn the ball over like we did in the second half, then you're playing more of a 5-on-5 game for the most part.
Chris, it seemed like you got 14 of 17 points in the second half from Wara. He looked like he moved inside a little bit closer to the basket, and Enoch seems to be giving you a lot more lately, playing better. Would you talk about both of those?
I mean, Jordan, he hasn't shot well the last couple games, but he found his points in other ways. I thought he went to the offensive glass. He found openings in their zone. Against their zone press, we got him down the floor a little bit. So he's more than, as you guys know, just a guy that shoots the ball from three. When he's doing that, then it's really hard to guard. I think Steven should be one of the best bigs in our league. He's got immense, size. He's athletic. He's got great touch. Malik's playing so well on the defensive end, and we just it's like a two-headed monster. But it's really good to see Steve. Sometimes transfers, when they sit out a year, they've been in a coat and tie or sweatsuit for a year, and it just takes a little time. But it's good to see him coming alive.
Coach, with this type of win, it seemed a little different than the other wins you've had on this winning streak. This was more of a grinded-out type game. Is that important, especially as you get closer to the tournament time, to see the team be able to pull out wins in different fashions? Maybe.
I just think it shows that we have some character on our team. It's easy to win a game. Things are going well for you. Shots are falling. Team isn't really frazzling you with their pressure. everybody's scoring, but the ball can't go in, doesn't go in. You know, just to have the stick-to-itiveness, believe in what should come first for our team, which is the defensive end. You know, we had 7 kills tonight. I know that you guys understand what that means. 3 consecutive stops is a kill. And that's for the last 5 games. We didn't do that in the non-conference. So, you know, we're going to have to win games like this. You're going to have games where your offense struggles. Other team takes away your better players. You know, the shots don't go in. You don't get some calls to get you to the free throw line. You know, whatever it is. But defense can keep you in the game. And, you know, we certainly, I thought, over the last 4 or 5 games have played a lot better defensively.
Coach Darius Perry, his minutes have drastically declined as the season has gone on. Is there any reason why he didn't play at all tonight?
Well, Darius was late to the shoot-around, and that was the second time that he's been late to something. And, you know, he's the only guy that's been late. And so I'm not going to play him.
Chris, going into the season, did you anticipate at all using Enoch and Williams the way you are and getting that much out of both of them, or what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know who else would have played the center position. They're different, so we have to be cognizant of that when we're on offense. Defensively, it doesn't matter. They're going to be asked to do the same thing. We're all reactive to whatever the team's running that we're playing. Also, whatever personnel they throw out on the floor, we can't control that. But we can control how we use them offensively. And Steven's different from Malik. They both have a really good shooting touch. Malik is a little bit more mobile, and he's not as physical. He doesn't seal and carve out space as well as Steve. So we can't just think that the one drop-back quarterback is out, let's put the other drop-back quarterback in. We have to be able to change our attack and how we use them. And we've done that through conference play a little bit to try to bring out both of their best on the offensive end.
Coach, it seemed like in the first half that getting the ball inside to Steven, it seemed like maybe if he was not there and immediately available, the team kind of went away from it. Does the team have to get used to playing with a true center, a true big man like that to kind of be a little bit more patient? It seemed like they were more adamant to get it into the inside in the second half.
It's a little bit of both. It's Steven not doing a good enough job demanding the ball, and then our guards not doing a good enough job of seeing in and looking in, especially when Pittsburgh plays their zone or man. They get extended. And the further out you extend, the more that he should be in one-on-one situations. You know, you give Pittsburgh credit because when Steven caught it off the block, they doubled him. And so our intention was to try to throw it from the top. It's a lot harder to double when the ball goes in from the top. You give Pittsburgh credit, and they give out scholarships as well, and they're fronting and fighting and trying to keep it out of his hand. But that's twofold. It's not just on Steven, and it's not just on our perimeter guys. It's those guys working together. And you know, Steven's got to be a little bit more of a jerk with his teammates when he feels like he gets open. And I played with some guys and coached some guys. Like you coached David West, and if he was open in the post and you didn't throw it to him, everybody in the arena knew that you didn't throw it to him. And Steven's such a nice kid that sometimes he doesn't, you know, demand that ball like he needs to. But I thought in the second half we found him in some really good spots.
I had just one follow-up. Just as far as the transition game, it seemed like they were getting layups at will up in Pittsburgh, but only 6 fast break points today. What was the biggest change that you made defensively?
Wasn't the change. And I think our mentality, who we were playing, the respect that I think we all had for Pitt the second time around. And I hate saying that because every game is an ACC game. Every game counts the same in the standings. They don't say, well, they didn't win any game a year ago, so it's only going to count for a half game. It counts. And unfortunately, we put ourselves behind the 8 ball of Pittsburgh, and we get down 13, 14, 15 points, and you know we're looking around, and we couldn't come back. And they pressure. And you know, you saw that in the first half. I mean, we could have given up a lot more points in the second half in transition had our turnovers been what they were in the first.
Being able to compare how you guys played tonight versus how you played just a few weeks ago against the same team, how useful is that as a measuring stick for kind of where you want this team to continue to go throughout conference play?
I mean, we take inventory after every game. I know that this is the same opponent, but you know we all are continuing to try to improve and grow, and I do think that we did some really good things against two things that we didn't do very well at Pitt. I thought our attack versus their three-quarter court press was much better. Our attack versus their zone today was much better. So that's an area of growth, and you know, we need to grow in all areas, but it's hard to grow sometimes when you don't see those things. You know, we haven't seen a lot of three-quarter court presses until the last couple games. You know, we haven't seen a lot of zone. You know, you got Ryan McMahon out there, and you got Jordan Moore out there, and 5 men that can shoot it. Not a lot of teams want to zone you. So hopefully we've made growth in those two areas.
Coach, just to follow up on the Darius Perry question, you know, you said that he's been the only one that's been late this year. How concerned are you with Darius? What do you think's going on with him?
I don't know. You know, sometimes it's immaturity. You have to ask Darius those things, and we want him to be a big part of our team. But you know, there's standards that we're not going to lower, and he's got to learn it sometime the hard way. And hopeful that he does.
Coach, I couldn't help but notice that you walked off the floor in your socks. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And was this win made sweeter by, you know, Jackson's journey today?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question. You know, obviously, this whole week for college basketball is Coaches versus Cancer, and trying to raise awareness. Hell, who doesn't know about, you know, the disease? But more importantly, it's about, you know, raising funds and dollars. And you know, over the years, whether it's an uncle of mine, friends that you've had, family members, you know, it seems like, you know, now maybe it's because the older I get, but we've all been affected somehow, one way or another, from this horrendous disease. Really hurts you when you start to see kids, you know, and Andy's story, is really tough one. You know, Andy and I knew each other. It wasn't like we were boys. I know we went to the same high school, but you know, we would text from time to time, and I heard through a third party that, hey, his son, you know, has brain cancer. And then it was like a few weeks later he passed away, and it was, you know, I can't imagine what the Kettlers have gone through. So we all wore, as you guys know, Matt Stebbins, our equipment manager, did a great job. I don't know if he personally did it, but got him a logo that says Jackson's Journey, which is their foundation they started, you know, to raise money for Jackson's specific type of brain cancer. And so I thought the least I could do is maybe sign the shoes. I think we're going to get our players to sign the other one. You know, I put 4 people I don't even know in our suite for the Duke game. And if an autographed basketball doesn't devalue everything from me, then that'll hopefully raise a little bit of money that we can throw towards Andy and Kim's foundation in Jackson's name. Have yourselves a great Saturday. I will.
Thanks, Coach.